All right. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Voice, where we talk about voice stuff.
Yeah,
This is episode, I have no idea.
episode 15 of season 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, time flies, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, we're in May already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're getting closer to that Alexa Live date, right?
Yeah.
So,
So probably July, I think it usually is.
right, right.
And, you know, I, um, what we did last year, like in March, we didn't do this year was to look at all the conferences coming up uh, that are surrounded by voice, and two of them, uh, either one's this Friday, and then one was like last week or 2 weeks ago. So I missed all that. I didn't go because I don't have that much cash to spend on them. But uh, did were you going to go to any conferences, or is it just Alexa Live?
So, for me, it's definitely going to be Alexa Live. And I'm kind of, this is just my personal thing, and we're going to go off track for a second here. I'm kind of waiting for the next big thing, so to speak. Um, I understand, like a lot of these conferences, they're talking about use cases and they're talking about potential future, implementations and things like that, right? Or hey, this is how we're using it, and this is how
Mm-hmm.
your business can piggyback off of what we're doing, right?
Yep.
Like it's almost like a marketing piece, a marketing component to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we get with Alexa Live. Alexa Live is specifically for the developers from Amazon with new features or upgrades, updates, improvements,
Mm-hmm.
um, the potential to jump on a beta list, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of what I see at the conferences, when you look at like the speakers and the itinerary and the schedule, is again, this is how we use it, or this is a white paper that we wrote on it explaining different concepts that can be carried over into your specific use case, those types
Mm-hmm.
of things, right? For me, a lot of that doesn't apply. Um, just as an indie one shot guy, I don't have a team. I don't have, designers over here and another team of engineers on my other side, and we're all collaborating. I don't have a marketing, guru or whatever,
Yep.
agency or whatever. So a lot of that conference stuff, I keep my eye on it,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it's not worth the financial and time investment.
For sure.
Um,
Makes sense.
I always compare myself to my previous life in healthcare, right? And there were times where we would go to these conferences, and the networking part was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic, and it still is for these types of conferences too. You're meeting like-minded people. You're having these conversations that are more personal and introspective, and just kind of growing your network a little bit, right? Like that's
Yep.
always a good thing, and that itself can be worth the experience, the price, the time commitment. But when I was in healthcare, we were seeing the latest things coming out. If there was a
Mm-hmm.
new technique, a new research paper, those types of things that could directly be influenced or translated to our situation, right? We could take that and bring it back. And I feel like while those two environments are different, I just don't see the parallel as much between taking that information back to my little home office, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, there's good things about them. I just haven't. felt the need or the desire to push forward in that avenue.
Yeah.
Um, but
Makes
before you
sense.
do go, I always like to hear about their experiences for sure. So if you
Hmm.
have gone, feel free to jump into our Discord and let us know about your experiences, what you talked about, who you met, any types of swag. There's always swag to be had. That's always pretty cool. But yeah, our thanks for popping our Discord into the chat, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, sure.
Pleasure.
All right. So let's get on to our spit. No, is it spilling the beans? Yeah, pop beans.
Pop beans.
So, as I said last week, we were going to dedicate a segment to just Mandalorian.
Leave out specifically for this stream.
You know what? I should have too. I'm
Yeah,
horrible.
all
But
good.
anyways, so Mandalorian season 3, all the episodes are out. Both Kevin and I watched all of them. I watch them with my family. My son has gotten really into Star Wars in general lately, so it was a really good show for us all to watch, and it was a good season. It one episode, only one episode. I think they could have done without, and I know you know which one I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, just for a little tee up of this character's character, of what this character is going to do, and what their character is all about. When I'm saying character, like who they really are as a person, and what they're willing to do as a person. And that was not needed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll get into some spoilery stuff. I think
Yeah, it might. I'm gonna try dance around as much as spoils as much as possible, but
Okay. Okay.
you might hear a spoiler. So if you are waiting, if you haven't seen all of them, this is your warning, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'll still try to dance around it a little bit, but yes. So uh,
So
overview. What is your first
so
thoughts?
I thought it was a very good season. Was it my favorite season? No.
Mm.
It wasn't, just because I think the other two seasons set expectations very, very high. And so I came into it like, okay, okay, when's Luke showing up again? Or like you know, because yeah, yeah. So like it started off very strong, right? You kind of
Yeah.
got this like, okay, we're kind of putting the bounty hunting stuff to the side, and
Mm-hmm.
we're focusing straight on all this Mandalore stuff.
Yep.
And I feel like you really needed to know a little bit more history of Mandalore and the Mandalorians, and even if you've seen the animated show, The Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
where, spoiler or whatever, like Darth Maul takes over, and there's like the Death Watch and
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of, well, I guess he wasn't Darth at that point, but Maul takes over, and so that's where you kind of got this splitting of the factions and things. Um, and I almost got to the point of like, okay, let's just get past this whole like separation thing. And then you almost had three, because you almost had three factions at one point, right?
Yep.
You had like what Din is part of, with
Yep.
like you never remove the helmet, and
Yep.
this is the way and all that.
Bo-Katan by herself.
Yeah, by herself.
Yeah.
And then you had the whole
Her old crew.
yeah, Axe and Pax and those guys and gals over there. So you almost had like these three, and I'm kind of like wondering like why is Mandalore so significant? Like what's the point? Because it has Beskar on it? Okay, maybe, or maybe it's got like that living waters type of thing, and so I kind of found myself like wondering when it was going to pick up a little bit for some
Hmm.
of that. Then of course we had that what I'm calling like the filler episode in
Yeah.
there with just placeholder is what it felt like.
It was
To
a
to
placeholder.
be to be explained later, and then
It still wasn't really explained later.
yeah,
I mean, there's this character
hmm
uh that the whole show was around and it had nothing to do with that person.
right, yeah, it just yeah. um
I
so
should say episode was about,
right,
not the show.
not show, but just that episode, yeah, and like looking because of where the Mandalorian show falls in the Star Wars timeline with everything that's canon, you kind of know what it's setting up. You kind of know where it's going to head with a lot of the First Order stuff and some of the cloning things that are into play. Like you kind of get it, but it should have spelled it out a little more. It should have fleshed it out and made it more substantial if they were going to devote time to it. Otherwise, this could have easily been an arc for season 4. You know what I mean? You could have pushed
Hmm.
it back um, a little bit to like the next season and had it explored a little bit and kind of brought up a little bit more, especially with the events towards the end of the season where you see Moff Gideon and his project, right?
Hmm.
See how I'm dancing around this a little bit?
Yeah, that was a good dance. That was a good
Yeah,
dance.
but overall, it was really good. I wish I would have seen a little bit more of Grogu and his Jedi training. Um, because from some certain things that I read, there was about some people are saying that with the timeline and how it was, he spent at least a year and a half with Luke.
Okay.
So yeah, we did see him flip around a little bit more, um, but really didn't see him do too much other than like maybe some telekinesis stuff, uh, that kind of thing. I wish I
Hmm.
would have seen a little bit more of that. I wanted to see him ride the Mandalorian line and the Jedi line. Like I wanted to
Yeah.
see him kind of living both worlds a
I
little
think
bit.
I think that's they are definitely setting that up for next season. I think next season will be more about uh them to you know,
Mm-hmm.
doing more Mandalorian stuff or bounty hunting stuff
Right.
um and Grogu actually growing into his the way.
The way, yeah, whatever the way is, this way, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I mean, you started off strong and kind of got into like establishing his his mission. His whole mission at the beginning of the season is I need to go bathe in the living waters or
Mhm.
visit them or whatever so that I can be a Mandalorian again because right now I'm kind of this outcast, right? Um what do they call it? The apostate is what they called it.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of a few episodes of them getting there and figuring out, like, hey, there's something going on Mandalore. We got to figure it out, whatever, gather resources and all that. Some of the fight scenes for that, very well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed all the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Um yeah.
You even got towards the end of the season. This is kind of where I'll go with this. Towards the end of the season, you saw things starting to be wrapped up a little bit with what was
Hmm.
happening in the previous episode, but you kind of got some throwback stuff as well, or almost not necessarily Easter eggs, but just parallels. Because if you remember in um, the Phantom Menace, where Qui Gon dies, right? That's a bummer. But they had those barriers. Obi Wan had to sit and wait
Oh,
with those ice
yes,
barriers, and then like one was deactivated and whatever. I thought that was really neat. I thought that was a
yes.
neat little Duel of Fates callback thing. Um, Same thing with Grogu and hit at the end there with the explosion. Not sure if you
Oh,
saw
yeah.
Rebels at all.
We're actually in the middle of watching it, so
Okay, no
I haven't
spoilers.
watched them
But
all.
you the
But I
fireball
know
scene.
they can do that stuff anyways.
Sure, sure. So the fireball scene is something that you'll pay attention to, and when it happens, you'll be like, oh, okay. That's all I'm gonna say for that.
Yeah, I actually called it out before it was happening.
Yeah,
Uh, um, and and my wife and my son was like, I didn't know that could happen, and I was like, yeah, why not?
possible.
They're Jedi.
Yeah,
Uh,
but the ending. If this was, and it maybe I have no idea. If this was the last season of The Mandalorian, I'm completely okay with how it ended.
I
I
agree.
thought
It was a
it was
great ending. Yeah,
yeah,
but
it
no,
was
I'm pretty sure there's 5 seasons,
probably
4 or 5.
as
Um,
successful as it is, absolutely.
yeah,
But it was nice
and
to
they
see
still
some.
have plenty of area to roam
Oh yeah,
within
oh yeah,
within the Star Wars universe. Um,
yep. I
because
mean,
this is not filmed. This area, this where the time frame we're in Mandalorian is not filmed at all.
yeah,
Um,
and it doesn't have to fit into the main Skywalker storyline either.
no,
They can
no.
tell whole new original
Hmm.
stories. Like, was it awesome to watch Luke walk down that hallway and just own everything? Absolutely. Was it nice to see some Jedi training? Was it nice to see Ahsoka show up in season two? Stuff like that. Absolutely. And those nice little tie-ins are cool, but you don't have to. I mean, you could just have uh, a bounty of the week situation, where one week they're doing this and there's a little overarching storyline, and
Hmm.
you start wrapping pieces together or tying pieces together and until you can wrap up a story.
Yep.
But it was nice to
That's kind
see.
of how the first one went.
Yeah, yeah, and it was successful and it worked well.
Yeah.
It was set within the Star Wars universe, telling an original story that didn't have to be about laser swords and you know Millennium Falcons and stuff. So,
Yep.
but it was nice to see IG-11 pop back up. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
To
Yeah.
have that call back.
Uh huh.
The robot suit for a while with Grogu, yes and no, was pretty cool.
Yep.
Like, no, no, no. But yeah, it was a good ride. It was a good adventure. I'm glad I sat down and made the time to watch it. I enjoyed it. I just think that there were some weird things, like Jack Black. His character's in here.
I liked it.
What? Well,
Uh,
it was good. It was good. It was just almost unexpected.
yes. Yeah.
Like almost thrown in there just for like fan service or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I think it was fan service to Jack Black.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He was making calls on that one too. Like,
uh,
get me in here.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um.
Some of the theories that I was reading, like there was an episode called The Spies, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, the armor, the armor is an actual like bad guy working for Moff Gideon, and like, oh boy, get ready because it's coming. She's gonna betray them and all this stuff." Nope,
Nope.
All good, all good.
Yep.
No, no big deal.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of criticism that they received was that it kind of became the Bo Katan story. Um,
Yeah,
she kind of
but no.
took spotlight. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, she took spotlight, but I don't think that was the case.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like, I don't know what it is with our nerd community or whatever it is, but like, there's always like a relationship. They're always like, oh, this person's gonna get with this person, or because before it was like Mando and Cara Dune.
Uh huh.
It was like, oh, that's happening. That's a relationship right there. Or
No.
like yeah, yeah. Or the theories then like, oh, it's gonna be King Din and Queen Bo, or ruling Mandalorian. Like, no, it's just that's not what it was. So
No.
I could ramble about this for hours, but the last thing I'll say is that it was nice to actually have that official uh, adoption thing.
Oh, yeah.
We'll call it that.
Hmm.
It was nice to really solidify that
Hmm.
and whatever. So, but it was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was
It was worth it. Definitely worth it. So
for sure. So that almost took up 30 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
No, no, that was good though.
Well, we'll hop into our excuse me. We'll hop into our meaningful conversation, which I don't know about you, Will, but for me, Alexa news has been a little light recently. Um, I haven't come across
Hmm.
too much brand new news or whatever.
Hmm.
I know you and I had talked about Alexa champions were named, that kind of thing for 2023, um, which is great for that. But the other news that kind of popped up that was kind of along the vein that I was talking about more of, what's the new feature coming out? What's the new update? What's the latest and greatest? Or, um, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, right? I don't have numbers or facts, but I really feel like voice is stagnating a little bit. You've got major players like Microsoft, Google, and Apple kind of pulling out a little bit, backing off, not devoting the money towards it,
Hmm.
kind of waiting to see that kind of thing. Alexa was launched like November 6th of 2014, and it ramped up, right? It went huge for a second there, and then I feel like it plateaued a little bit, picked up speed again during maybe what I call the COVID times. Um, and then now I feel like we're kind of down on a downward trend a little bit. So, what the news that came out right this week actually was that the CEO says that Alexa is about to get a lot more capable, and we're going to jump into why that is. Okay. So, the first article that you have here is from that ZDNet. Um,
Okay.
and so it's a pretty basic article, as each one of these really say the same thing, but in different
Hmm.
words.
Exactly.
Um, but so Amazon had their first quarter or earning meeting, and this is when it was all brought up because Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said that they're working on a large language model, and that's a key phrase right now that you're hearing a lot is LLM. And that has a lot to do with the chat GPTs and all the AI talk that's out there right now. This incorporates a lot of that. And so they're wanting to use this LLM, this large language model, to kind of lift Alexa to that next level.
Just
Go
to
ahead.
clarify, they already have an LLM. They want to lift their LLM to another level.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
saying
And
that.
that makes sense because the that's already in place with all of their cloud computing power
Mm-hmm.
to elevate that. You're right. You're right. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
very clear about that.
Yeah,
But
no, no, no worries.
yeah, they want to, and right here it says it's in like the third paragraph down on this one that they want to equip the virtual assistant, so Alexa, with one language model that can execute more complex tasks. And so that's good. I'd like to see more examples of what they mean by that. Um, I mean, they say they want it to work with their entertainment aspect, their different devices that they have, any advertising, some of their stores, those types of things. But I'd like to know specific examples of what they're going for.
So what? Just pulling out of the example they have. They just said no, not pop rock, Alexa. I want hip hop, and so it sounds more like a natural language uh, instead of saying no, stop, 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 and then play this. Like what we are trained ourselves to be more like robots when talking to a robot. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's more conversational, more or normal for a human to speak to the device.
Right. Because now we have to hit those intent cues, right? We have to
Yes.
make sure that we say the right thing to to achieve that outcome. Whereas like what you had just said, no, not pop rock, I said do this. It's more conversational, more natural. You're absolutely right. And so I guess that language model that they're looking to expand upon is what's going to help with that. Um,
Yeah. So you kind of like bring up Chat GPT because that's what all these articles are surrounding or competing against. And if you think about that, when you type to Chat GPT, you don't say give me pop rock or right. You're like play something. You don't say this because you can't play anything, but play some music that's pop, or play some pop music, or play some pop music that I would like, something like that, which is more normal to say. uh, and it would be able to compute and give you something back.
right.
Obviously, this was a bad example,
Well, that's okay.
but
It kind of, I'm guessing or assuming, which is always dangerous, that it kind of builds on conversational design, right? Like that's how we're told that we need to be building our skills is being aware of how someone would talk to their device, right? Try and anticipate different synonyms or different
mm-hmm.
ways of speaking. For example, if I would say something one way and you would say it a different way, try to include both of those, methodologies.
Yeah,
So I guess it's just growing. I mean, I guess it's more of like the natural evolution of this system. I guess is a good word for it. Or, but I guess one of the better examples that I did see was from the GeekWire article,
yeah,
and the specific example that they gave was that one of their journalists who was writing this article had a sore throat. So he asks Alexa and says, "Hey, um, I'm not feeling well. I've got a sore throat. What would I eat to help with that?" Right? And you can kind of think, oh, it's going to recommend like chicken noodle soup or something like that. But it just kept asking for generic ingredients. just kept saying, um, what was it here? I'm gonna get the exact thing. So it said, I can search by dish name and ingredients. What would you like? Well, it really wasn't related to what he was asking for.
Mm-hmm.
But when he went to ChatGPT and said, I'm not feeling well, give me a recipe to make me feel better, it nailed it. It said, first of all, it said, hey, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. That's terrible. I hope you feel better soon. Here's a simple recipe for soup that might help you feel better. And then it just started listing ingredients and how to prepare it. Right. So that was what I guess this is going to be. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Andy Jassy, the Amazon CEO, um, I guess that's kind of the end goal, to be a smarter, more robust, more useful. And this is the key phrase that they're using quite a bit, is personal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that they want it to be the best personal assistant in the world, which awesome, right? I mean, I think that's how a lot of people are using their devices anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me about this meeting at this
Yeah.
time, or set an alarm for this, or put this on my shopping list, like a personal assistant. Okay. I think once you better integrate with various emails, and if you're really using the AI aspect to look at all these peripheral data points, I think it's going to definitely expand the usefulness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that always comes up to my next point of, or next thought process, I guess, not point, but thought process of, how am I, as a developer, going to take advantage of this next step, right? Am I going to have to learn a whole new code base? Am I going to have to learn a new language? Um, like I've said 1,000 times, uh, Amazon has some amazing documentation, but is this going to be something where I'm going to have to take a step back and learn something brand new in order to keep up? Which maybe, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
So first off, Amazon, if you are watching this, you can let us know which one is right, or where we should go from here. But my thoughts is the more the Google way.
Okay.
That there isn't any more third party developers, and it's just a personal assistant.
Okay.
So
Okay. So let's use
for me as a third party developer, uh, I don't like it, but I really feels like it's going that way
I kind of agree with that. I can see.
from what I'm reading in these articles.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Let's take that from let's go with a weather app or a weather
Hmm.
skill perspective, right? So right now, I can open up Big Sky, right? And I can get like these super detailed weather outputs. But is that still going to be the case? Or is it going to utilize an AI backend that just pulls in all these data points,
Hmm.
and I kind of similar to just using the stock
Right.
asking it, right? It's just going to be
Hmm.
more robust. So is there going to be a need or a desire to use a third party?
Hmm.
I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
uh, Look at it from a game perspective. There have been, um, let's, you and I are big RPG guys, right?
Hmm.
So let's say that we want to come up with we want to play an RPG game, right? And this has been done already, using Bing's, uh, Microsoft's AI stuff.
Hmm.
that a gamer said, "Hey, create a Skyrim adventure for me using an archer character." And it went through prompts, and it was like a text-based story that he could say, "Okay, now I want to go into this cave. I want to go and loot this." And it did. It gave him loot. It, you know, went into the cave and described the cave and what he was up against. At the time, he only had 10 prompts available to him, so the story kind of ended fairly quickly. But what's to just stop someone from doing that instead of jumping into Kevin's cool RPG adventure? You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know. And if you do that type of stuff, you get a different experience every single time.
Yeah.
I mean, all the
Exactly.
variables that come into play, you'll never play the same thing twice. You could still have persistence, um, all
Hmm.
the things, the inventory and save states and things that we run into right now. So I don't know. I really don't know. Um, Same thing. I've talked about. I know I'm rambling. Sorry, this is the Kevin rambling section.
Hey, it's okay.
Um, I've been working on this skill. I haven't put too much effort into it recently. Full disclosure of a skill of a photography skill, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's you know uh, get into a section like, for example, macro photography.
Okay.
Give me a suggestion for a macro photography uh, shot, and it would be like a blade of grass, an insect, or it would be a texture. It would be something inside your house with a unique texture or zigzag lines or pattern, something like that. But what's to prevent you from just asking, this LLM version that's going to pull 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 different examples from,
Hmm.
the ether
Yeah.
and present it in a potentially much better way. Let's be honest, probably much better way than Kevin is than I am presenting it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It could even pull in images, like a variety of images from different sources and things that I would just be able to pull from my stock portfolio, right?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Then I don't know.
Yes. I wonder how that would work with images and stuff like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I think the potential's there.
Hmm.
Something like let's think about this from a web dev perspective. You have, if you properly use alt tag or alt image tags, whatever, um, that are properly describing the image, and it pulls from that, just like uh, a spider does when it crawls a website, or
Hmm.
a robot spider, whatever crawls it. As long as you're using your alt image stuff effectively, it should pull something similar, something good.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
and then, I mean, if you have your authority and stuff like that that says, yeah, this is a trusted domain that has good quality stuff, it would probably show those first. Which again, then you start getting into your business model, right? Like, we'll show you the the most optimized stuff first, right? Or we're going to present to you, Kevin's a dum dum photographer, whereas Will is an A plus amazing photographer. We're going to show his stuff. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
not really.
Like, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would then do that, or same thing
Yeah.
with like ads. You could pay to be the higher one, or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know how all that would come into play, but you can see where these types of lines of thought go. Um, it's just a different avenue in the voice section of it all.
With the LLM, does give you more of the ability to um, target individuals with ads that are more targeted.
Right, right.
um, so there's that too.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I want to see how it's going to be presented to developers. I think that'll be a very interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
Kind of curious to see if we'll. I'm sure we'll hear something about it with Alexa Live,
Hmm.
because not only is Alexa Live focused on us as developers, but there are business aspects that have
Yes.
potential there as well.
Hmm.
So they definitely cater to businesses and use cases for businesses as well. So I'm sure that we'll hear something more about this. So I'm gonna keep my ears to the ground.
For
So
sure.
yeah, but we did have another article as well, and it was from VentureBeat, and it was very very similar. Kind of
Hmm.
just another example, but it did already have the quote from Jassy saying, hey, this is what we have, this is what we're going to have, and this is how we hope to be effectively utilizing it with additional conversations and different business perspectives that we're looking to push. So,
Yeah.
yeah, three great articles on it, each with their own little take on it, but it all comes down to wait and see.
Hmm.
Nothing concrete at the moment. But with what again, final thing I'll say with what we have with like the Chat GPT and some of these other tools, you can kind of guess a little bit of what direction they're wanting to head. And I'm sure with again the AWS side of it, all of their cloud computing and all those resources, I'm sure they're putting a couple bucks towards this. So
Yeah. Just a couple.
just a couple, just a couple. So and rant.
Ended. All right. This week we didn't have a taste test. I didn't think of anything that would match,
Fit the theme a little.
fit the
Yeah.
theme this week. So we are skipping it, even though I just got my Fire TV stick working again. But
That's good.
we do have some Bean of the Weeks. Um, I Mine isn't that great, but both me and my son really love Jurassic. He loves it more than me, but um, dinosaurs, and we've seen all the movies, we've seen all the shows, and uh, so Humble Bundle had the Jurassic World Evolution 2. It's their world building simulator uh, where you can have dinosaurs and build the parks and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And it's on sale. There, or Frontier has a publisher sale. Um, so we got that pretty good deal, 75% off. I mean, it's a I think 2-year old game, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Also, from Frontier, I've never played a Planet Zoo, but I was told it's the best zoo uh, simulator out there. Um,
Sure.
and I have another one, so I just bought this Planet Zoo one since it was on sale, 75% off. Also, um, they make Planet Coaster, which is also supposed to be the best simulator for like an amusement park type of simulator, and bunch of other games. So, um,
I'm looking at this right now, and something that I don't have much experience with is Warhammer 40K,
mhm.
but I So that might be something I look
It
into.
depends on the game though. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
so uh, yeah,
So I need
it
to look
depends on the
into
game.
it.
Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
there's definitely a lot of 40K games out there. So I play Warhammer, um, Warhammer Total War, Warhammer 3. So that's a total different type of game. Obviously, I don't know if you played any of the Total War games, but
No,
it's
I think I
massive
haven't.
armies going against each other and warring. And then it's kind of like a civilization where you're taking over territories and whatnot. So, but it's in the Warhammer world, and it's pretty fun. So there's that one. I haven't played either of these ones,
Yeah. These
but
almost remind me of, at least from the screenshots, almost reminds me of like an XCOM, maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't
I
know
was
for
gonna say
sure.
there is XCOM, like the turn-based ones, but then there's also some that are you're just a one character and you upgrade your stats like a normal RPG.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Huh.
yeah, they have tons of games.
I might have to do some research on that one, but this humble bundle might be my starting point. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
very cool. Pretty cool.
and I did look. Uh, the sale is going on only at here at Humble Bundle. It's not on Steam.
Okay.
Even though you get it through Steam,
Right.
it's
Right.
only on Humble Bundle.
Okay.
So
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's always nice to like choose your charity that you want to support and then like see what's available. So cool. Yeah, I've been keeping my eyes on humble bundles quite a bit lately. So always a nice find.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So my bean of the week is Vero. Are you familiar with
Vero.
Vero,
No.
Will? It's been around since 2015, and it's kind of like an Instagram. You know, there you if I was a creator, I can post my images on there and you can comment to them. You can give them likes, whatever. But there's also like some collaboration elements to it. And what's really nice about it is they do have a desktop app available for Mac and Windows. It's currently in beta, but it's very good. I enjoy it. But the big thing about it is that there's no ads. There's no ad presence, right? There's no like, hey, you can pay to boost your stuff. It's kind of like an algorithm free type of environment.
Wow.
So I go in and I so I follow a couple landscape photographers from the UK and
Okay.
that area, and I'm seeing what they're posting. I can give it a like. I can give it a comment. You know, there's like the hashtag system so that you can help discover certain topics and things. But there's no ad stuff. It's very clean. It's very modern looking, modern feeling, very simple,
Yeah,
which
it
I
was looking
enjoy.
like it. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I no, I didn't
I
share it.
I personally haven't come across a lot of uh, even if any, just maybe it's the creators that I follow that short form content. So your reels or your stories or your TikToks, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't come across a lot of that, which for
Mm.
me is nice. Like I know that I can go to those platforms if I want to see that. But a lot of what I watch and look at and stuff takes more than, well, one, it's not like weird dances or whatever, but man, I'm old. But it's not like weird dances or whatever, or it's not like prank stuff or whatever. It's more of like instructional, like
Mm-hmm.
for example, photography, right? Uh, Somebody's going to be showing me how to use what they call an ND filter, right? And different stops of light and whatever. That's something that typically takes a lot more than 30, 60 seconds. So that I go to YouTube for to learn
Hmm.
something instructional or a blog
Right.
post or whatever. Um, but this feels Vero to me, if I could just wrap it up finally, feels like um, what Instagram originally was.
Okay.
Here's a photo, and that's it. Enjoy it. Here's something that I took, um, and I'm just posting it. There's no like brand pushing stuff. Like you could push your own brand if you wanted to.
Hmm.
Like if I took a picture of, I don't even know, if I took a picture of a water bottle of my water company, right? I could create a hashtag and push it, but it's not like I could buy ad space for it and you're gonna every three scrolls see my water bottle picture that whatever. It's not really about discoverability. It's more of just about the community, right? Like just getting your photo out there. Or if you're really interested in Instagram model poses type of things, you can specifically follow those creators, right? Um, that do those types of things, and that's what your feed will be.
Mm.
But it's not like you get the random like Twitter. Twitter's really bad about this. Like random stuff that just pops up, whether you ask for it or not. Like it just is there. Instagram's the same way. Whatever somebody paid for, just it's on your feed because you live in the same area or you're the same age as that person, so you were that targeted demographic, and now you're getting those posts that are technically ads for that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There isn't any of that. You follow who you want to follow. That's what you see, plain and simple. So it's kind of neat. It's clean. Like I said, they just came out with their desktop app. Um, really nice. I like it. I wish I would have found it earlier. So I don't know if there's any like development community on it. Because you know uh, Mastodon has kind of that tech aspect to it.
Hmm.
Twitter was huge. Was I don't know, huge for the tech community, right?
Hmm.
You used to see
Yeah.
hashtag 100 days of code. You used to see that all the time. You used to have Alexa devs just back and forth and whatever, um, talking, having a conversation and stuff. So this is kind of like the Instagram, but cleaner, I guess. So I kind of hope that nobody else finds out about this and doesn't destroy like the environment, or like I don't want it to like blow up so big that it's just like okay, now I'm out because I liked my little community. But I really hope that it gains traction and whatnot with some of the topics that are out there right now with like privacy and whatever. So anyway, I am on a roll with ranting tonight, aren't I? Holy
It's
moly!
all good. We need to fill time anyways.
There you go. There you go.
uh, I was just looking into this and downloading it and whatnot, so
Yeah,
it was
give it
good.
a shot. See if you get into it. So,
Thanks for that.
kind of neat. Yeah, kind of neat. Something to play around with, and that's something you and I like to do all the time is just find
Yeah.
something new, play around with it.
Hmm.
Um,
Sure.
other than that, you could also jump into Discord and play around with that
Yep.
because you have some pretty cool tools that you set up in there. Um, the AI art, that's pretty
Yep.
cool
We
stuff.
do have AI art in there, and for some odd reason, instead of copying from our thing, I cut it from our document. But anyways, yeah, we have AI art. I just shared it banger that I created for work. It wasn't for work; it was for a thing I was doing at work, um, called Gator Camp. So you got to give it a listen. I put it in the general chat.
Nice.
Um, and but yeah, join us on there. Uh, Let us know what you think of everything. If you want us to do something to cover something, let us know. If you want us to play some skill or open up some skill or a game, let us know. Um, Whatever. Uh, and I'm going to plug my stream tomorrow. Uh,
Yes.
we are going to be week number 2 of developing a game via Phaser JavaScript, Phaser JS. Um, and it's going pretty good. I had some hiccups over the weekend, but I think I overcome them, and we're getting there. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the first stream was great. And you can still watch that on your channel in the VOD section.
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Or
So I'll check that
if
out.
you are watching this on YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube as well. But yeah, we do have it on Twitch. I don't know how long it's there, but it's for a while. So
Yeah. 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 Jump into chat. I was there. Um, I had a good time. So good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's nice to see the progress that was made. Cool stuff.
awesome.
On that note, I guess we'll catch up with you next week, everyone.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for hanging out with us. A few last items if you don't mind. Like and subscribe. It's free and really helps support us. Leave a comment about your thoughts on the show. And join our Discord and say hi.